Modern slavery is an umbrella term. If we boil it down, it is taking a human being, turning them into a commodity for the sole purposes of making money. We use that umbrella term to cover a number of different types of exploitation. So whether that's forced labor, trafficking for sexual exploitation, domestic servitude, forced criminality, and even organ trafficking.
So what does modern slavery look like?
So in the UK, at any one time, we now estimate there are at least 130,000 people in situations of extreme exploitation. Globally, the estimates are at least 50 million people, of which the majority are in what we call forced labor, so about 28 million. That means they're in the supply chains of the world. That means that you and I are personally connected to people through our consumption. And globally, it's a trade that's worth about $500 billion profit per annum. And in the UK, we now estimate that it's costing the UK about £60 billion socioeconomically.
So how exactly is modern slavery an economic crime?
£60 billion. Let's put that into context. That's 2% of the UK's GDP, or £60 billion would pay for about 50 new hospitals, or it will pay for the refurbishment of 750 schools. So it's a significant amount of money. And we have to remember what this crime is. It is turning an individual into a commodity to make money. And yes, there are horrendous human rights outcomes for those individuals that end up exploited. But what we're trying to do now is put a cost figure, not just for society, but for different stakeholders, so that we understand just not only how pervasive modern slavery is, but how it has an impact economically.
So why exactly should we care?
I think we care on a number of different levels. So firstly, we should care that there are human beings, fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, nieces, nephews, who have found themselves in situations of extreme exploitation. And we wouldn't want that or wish that on our worst enemy. And we have the privilege at Unseen of helping people that have survived and that have escaped that exploitation. And we're passionate about ending modern slavery so that no one else falls into that situation. But we should also care economically in terms of the cost that it is putting on the UK. What's the cost on our public services? What's the cost on government? We estimate that the cost on the NHS is about £120 million a year. We estimate the cost on policing is about £210 million a year. That's equivalent to 7,500 police officers. So we begin to understand that not only is it the exploitation of an individual, but it has negative impacts on the UK economy, on the global economy. And when we start breaking it down, we understand the impacts that it has on society as a whole, or on business. And so I think when we frame modern slavery as both a horrendous human rights issue and an economic crime and the commodification of a human being, we begin to understand the impact that this crime has, not just on individuals, but on communities, on countries, and globally.
So Unseen has this new report. Can you just tell me what it is and why it's relevant to this?
So we are in the process of doing a series of reports, and this is our latest report looking at the economic cost of modern slavery. And this report looks at the impact on policing. And we estimate that the cost to policing last year in 2024 was around £210 million. And what we looked at in this report was what is currently going on with policing. Are there regional variations? Are there variations between police forces? Where is the best practice? And the recommendations that have come out of it is, yes, there's a cost on policing, but actually we need to invest more in policing so that police start to investigate this at first as an economic crime, because the law has defined that this is a crime where the Proceeds of Crime Act can come into play, which means we can asset strip perpetrators. And that's really key, because that is taking away the purpose for why these criminals get involved in this. But it is also recognizing that actually if we actively prosecute and we work in conjunction with NGOs in supporting survivors, that actually we will see them wanting to engage more with policing. And we know that when they engage with policing, there is more likely to be further prosecutions, which is a justice outcome not just for victims, but it's a justice outcome for society. So we really hope that this report starts conversations between police forces looking for best practice, that it's a conversation at government level to say how are we going to invest in order to prosecute this crime and disrupt this crime. And it is also a report that is calling for more joint and coordinated working between different agencies. This year we celebrate 10 years since the passing of the Modern Slavery Act, but unfortunately the scale of the problem has grown. We now understand the economic cost on top of the huge human rights cost to individuals that end up in a situation of exploitation. So this Anti-Slavery Week, we strongly encourage you to continue to support our work as we work towards a world without slavery. We are petitioning government, we are bringing forward reports, we work every day with survivors, helping them on that journey to recovery and resilience. And we need you to be part of our work, and we need you to support us, and that means financially. And so I'm asking you this Anti-Slavery Week to dig deep, to support the work of Unseen, so that we can get to our aim of a world without slavery sooner rather than later.